Beautiful night for baseball here at Spillane Field in Wareham, Massachusetts, as the Wareham Gatemen take on the Cotuit Kettleers in Game 19 of the CCBL season. I'm Eric Bramer, joined by Jake Garcia. And Jake, the Gatemen got an off day yesterday, perhaps in name only, but they're trying to separate themselves from a disappointing loss Monday night, and they'll try and get back in the win column against the Cotuit Kettleers team that gave them probably their most impressive win of the season on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm not sure if yesterday really qualified as an off day for the Gatemen. Going to Fenway Park, infielders and outfielders had to run the 60, take infield and outfield, and then take batting practice as well, out in the sun all day long. But for them, really, it was an off day for the toil of the Cape Cod Baseball League season, coming off their worst loss against a Chatham English team that beat them 9-2. 3 errors really plagued them in that game. Their team ERA has now ballooned over 3 runs, but for them tonight, they're looking to get back in the win column.
It's been a rough year thus far for the Kettleers, standing at 6-12 on the year, but one of the lone bright spots has been their starting pitcher tonight, John Woodcock. He has a very good ERA. He's a lefty and he throws strikes. That could pose a challenge for the Gatemen tonight.
Yeah, Woodcock's been excellent so far this season for the Kettleers. Only made 1 start, but that 1 start came against Hyannis, the top team in the Western Division. 14 innings pitched this season, 14 strikeouts, only 1 walk as well. He's in the strike zone a lot, and the Gatemen, they're a team that likes to walk, so they could have their hands full against Woodcock tonight.
Gatemen have an interesting setup tonight. They're trying to cobble together 9 different innings from probably 4 different pitchers. Their starter, though, generating a lot of excitement. His name is Matt Crook. He's making his 2nd appearance in his return from Tommy John surgery. He was a first-round draft pick out of high school, and now trying to work his way back. He has some electric stuff.
Yes, he does, and whenever Crook takes the mound for the Gatemen, there's always a little bit more excitement surrounding the ballpark. Scouts, radar guns, video cameras just littered all over the place, and Crook has electric stuff. It'll be great to watch. Even him only throwing 2 innings tonight, definitely reason to be excited.
For more on that game plan and the pitching staff tonight, we're joined by the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Megan O'Brien.
Thanks, guys, and that's right, a different buzz here around Spillane Field. Crook taking the mound, and as you both mentioned, he was a first-round draft pick out of high school. We saw him for just 2 innings in his last performance, and he is on the same pitch count again tonight. We talked to manager Cooper Ferris about Crook's performance, and he said, you know, after the outing, he wasn't very sore, but 2 days later, that's when it caught up to him a little bit. So expect the same excellent velocity and great potential out of Matt Crook. Different buzz around here, as we mentioned, the scouts and agents all lined up to see how Crook is, and I think we're just excited to see what he has to bring to us tonight. Back to you guys.
This one hit well by Sowers to left. Back is Tubbs, reaching up. It's gone! Home run, Logan Sowers, the first for the Gatemen this season. It was a no-doubter.
Fly ball right field, Jabs charging in. He makes the catch. Boomer White's going to attempt to tag. The throw to the plate in time. He got him.
The 0-1 to Matajevic, hit well to center field. Charlie Warren ranging back to left center, reaching up and making the catch, crashing into the wall. What a catch by Charlie Warren, robbing an extra base hit and keeping the no-hitter intact.
Oh my goodness, that was just a devastating breaking ball thrown by Spitzbarth there. It looks sort of like an E-fist.
The 3-1, hit well to right field. Walker back. This one is gone. A grand slam for Jay Jabs and 6 runs for the Gatemen here in the 2nd.
That was an absolute moonshot. And here he is. Fastball in there, strike 3, got him looking. Bailey Clark escapes the jam.
The 3-1, hit well to left center field. Bird is back. He is not going to catch it. It's off the base of the wall. 1 run will score. Jabs is quickly behind him. He will score as well. It's a 2 RBI double for Andrew Kisner, and the Gatemen now lead 7-0. Now has a 2-2 to Bortles. He got him. Zach Houston comes in the game and strikes out the side.
Ground ball up the middle. Grand Prix spins around, throws. What a play, Preston Grand Prix.
Hi, I'm Kyle Schwarber, and you're listening to Wareham Gatemen Baseball.
It is a beautiful night for baseball, and we're all refreshed, rejuvenated after our quote-unquote off day. We all traveled as a team to Fenway Park yesterday for the annual CCBL workout, and while we didn't work out, we got to see all the players enjoy their time on the field, and we snuck on the field as well. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, I kind of wish I were the one working out there, but
for the players, an incredible experience for them getting to step foot on a big league field, and not just that, but getting to take batting practice, trying to see how many dingers they can hit up against or up over the Green Monster. Logan Sowers really put on a display. Unfortunately, though, Andrew Kalika was the only other guy with a home run yesterday. So
yeah, and he snuck it down the right field line around
the
pesky pole. So we will see. And now we're being told that Jay Jabs also got one, but I think there was some ambiguity among his teammates whether or not that one got over or whether it bounced on a hop.
Yeah, well, we know Jay Jabs has home run power, but, I mean, even at Fenway Park, that's a little bit difficult. I know pesky pole kind of curves in. And speaking of pesky pole, we got to sign that. A few of the Gatemen did as well. So we got the full Fenway treatment yesterday.
Absolutely we did. Coaches are meeting with the umpires right now. Looks like we're about to get started as the chalk lines are just being put in place. We will give you the lineups. First for the visiting Cotuit Kettleers, standing at 6-12 on the year. Lineup presented by longtime head coach Mike Roberts, the UNC baseball legend and father of former Major League Baseball player Brian Roberts. Leading off and playing right field for the Kettleers, Court Peterson. Batting second in center field, Jackson Klein. Batting third, the left fielder, Brett Stevens. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, Brandon Berry. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Gene Cohn. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Mike Paez. Batting seventh, the catcher, Will Haney. Batting eighth, the third baseman, Brody Weiss. Batting ninth, the second baseman, Cole Fabio.
The interesting case with this Cotuit Kettleers lineup, and yes, there's one for every team we play, but for them, 9 team home runs, which ranks second in the entire Cape Cod Baseball League. Only 47 RBIs, though, that ranks 7th or third to last. So they can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Whether or not they have runners on base is another question. Mike Roberts loves to steal as well, but so far this season leading the Cape in caught stealings.
Now the lineups for the host, Wareham Gatemen, standing at 9-9 on the year. Lineup presented by Cooper Ferris. Leading off, the designated hitter, Kramer Robertson. Batting second, the right fielder, Jay Jabs. Batting third, the catcher, Andrew Kisner. Batting fourth, the first baseman, David McKinnon. Batting fifth, the left fielder, Logan Sowers. Batting sixth, the third baseman, John Sternagel. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Mark Karaviotis. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Preston Grand Prix. And batting ninth, the center fielder, Andrew Kalika. We'll now go to our crowd microphone for the presentation of our colors and the national anthem.
Community Service Single Troop based in Mattapoisett, Mass. Please welcome Abby Wixton of Wareham, Liana Lynch of Mattapoisett, Emma Wynot of Fairhaven, and Laura Pereira of New Bedford.
I think we're close to 100% for excellent national anthems here at Spillane Field. Another nice one. And a beautiful anthem for a beautiful night for baseball. I say it, and I say it again, because it really is a perfect summer night here. We've had some hot and sticky nights. We've had some cold and foggy, rainy nights, but no weather in the forecast. Wind, a gentle breeze blowing out to right field. And if you're seeing a green blob moving around your screen, that's not the clouds in your eyes, that's Wally the Green Monster. mascot for the Boston Red Sox. And
Think they planned that the day after they go to Fenway. Wally the Green Monster is at Spillane Field.
I think both are dependent on the Red Sox being on the road. Fenway Park would not be available, and Wally the Green Monster obviously would be very busy during a homestand, but
the Gatemen are closer to 500 than the Red Sox are.
Yes, they are.
So
Red
maybe
Sox.
Wally the Green Monster navigating towards the team that's having more success.
Red Sox north of the border playing Toronto, and it's Canada Day. How have you celebrated Canada Day?
By watching the Blue Jays hit, 5 home runs against the Red Sox? Happy Canada Day to you, Boston.
It's a good way to celebrate.
Should be noted, though, about the weather that it was pouring earlier today, both in Wareham and where we reside, Mattapoisett, and it took really a heroic effort from some of the members of this coaching staff to get the field in game shape. Some games, or rather just one game in the Cape, Orleans, that game had to be postponed. They were playing the Hyannis, 2 games, Orleans against Brewster and Hyannis against Falmouth. Both those games postponed, and looking at some pictures on Twitter, those fields were just absolutely underwater. Fortunately, though, a good effort from the coaching staff, and Spillane Field, a good effort by itself just to hold some water.
In the words of someone on the Gatemen coaching staff, the right field in Hyannis was a swimming pool, and based on the pictures that we saw on Twitter of the Orleans Diamond, the entire outfield underwater. So very lucky to have a dry field and dry weather for Game 19 in the Cape Cod Baseball League season. Gatemen have taken the field. Matt Crook has taken the rubber. We'll give you the defensive alignment for the Wareham Gatemen in the field. Left to right across the outfield, it's Logan Sowers, Andrew Kalika, and Jay Jabs. Across the infield, left to right, John Sternagel at third, Preston Grand Prix at short, Mark Caraviotis at second, David McKinnon at first, and behind the plate, Andrew Kisner catching the lefty Matt Crook.
The Gatemen's lineup composition today has Kramer Robertson DHing, which means Caraviotis slides into his spot at second base. Sternagel in at third, pushing Kisner behind the plate, which means Jarrett Reinflesch, who's swinging an extremely hot bat, gets the night off.
Leadoff hitter Court Peterson steps in. A larger than usual crowd here tonight, and thanks in part, I would assume, to Crook's placement on the mound. He's only going to go a couple innings. He's on a pitch count as he recovers from Tommy John surgery. Ball 1 misses low. But he has a fascinating story. He was drafted first round out of high school, but during the physical, the Miami Marlins found a MRI. In their MRI, they found a slight tear in his pitching shoulder, and his ball 2 misses low. So they decreased their bonus for him. He said, well, I'm going to go to college instead. Then it was his elbow that blew out, required Tommy John surgery as the 2-0 hit weakly right side. McKinnon has it for out number 1. He had Tommy John surgery about 15 months ago, and although in the past couple months he's been throwing off a mound and stuff, Cape Cod Baseball League action, the first time he has returned to facing live hitters. And my goodness, those are the first live hitters you're going to face. You can't get much better than that.
Well, he showcases exactly the kind of stuff he has just by just shattering the bat of Court Peterson on an inside fastball there. And Crook, though, he's still had a successful college career. Missed all of this season, but in an injury-shortened freshman season, still a freshman All-American, still had an ERA under 2 and over 45 innings of work.
His only other appearance for the Gatemen this year was back on June 22nd. He pitched the first 2 innings of a 5-4 loss to the Brewster Whitecaps. Didn't allow any runs as ball 1 misses low. It's now 1-1. He allowed 2 hits, struck out 2, did not allow any walks. He is a 3-pitch pitcher, but his most dominant pitch is his slider. It was the pitch that he was throwing when he blew out his elbow at Oregon.
Facing a guy in Jackson Klein, another Pac-12 member. Klein coming from Stanford and also the owner of a 6-game hitting streak.
Count now 1-2 to Klein. Interesting order for the Kettleers. They have their 3 outfielders batting 1, 2, 3. Peterson, the right fielder, followed by Klein, the center fielder, and Stevens on deck, the left fielder.
UCLA, Stanford, UCLA, the first 3 guys of the lineup.
Breaking pitch gets him looking. That might have been that slider there, a little bit slower than what we've seen before. But the result the same, strikeout looking, and quickly 2 down here in the top of the first.
Well, this is a great start for Matt Crook, exactly what the scouts want to see too. First out of the ball game, a shattered bat. Second one, a wipeout slider that buckles the knees of Klein.
Now Brett Stevens, the left fielder. Stevens coming into the game, batting .333, 12 hits and 36 at-bats as he takes a strike on the outside corner.
First pitch off speed that time from Matt Crook, so confident to throw all of his pitches in any given count.
The 0-1, missing just inside to even up the count at 1-1. He's being caught tonight by Andrew Kisner, who is in his first full year catching. He was transitioned to the backstop by NC State as the 1-1 chopped foul towards the Gatemen dugout. And while he isn't the premier defensive option behind the plate for the Gatemen, that would be Jarrett Reinflesch, his bat is something you really can't take out of the lineup, so they're going to try and find spots for him, whether it's at third, first, or behind the plate.
And the decision for Kisner to shift behind the plate, one that was both on an individual level and a team-wide level at NC State. He knew that it would help his draft stock if he could continue to rake while doing all of that behind the plate, and NC State knew that they needed to find a new catcher, and Kisner was the highest bidding candidate, and really the only bidding candidate, so he assumed their starting job.
Crook with the 2-2 to Stevens, bouncing it in the dirt. Count runs full with Brandon Berry, the cleanup hitter, on deck. We are under the impression, again, that Crook will go 2 innings if everything goes well, and then they will turn to the bullpen. The 3-2 from Crook to Stevens, missing low in the dirt, and it gets behind Kisner. Stevens in no hurry. He'll just take first. So a 2-out walk, and the Kettleers have the first base runner of the game for Brandon Berry.
That'll be the first walk of the season for Matt Crook, trying to complete his 3rd inning of work for the Gatemen. Allowed 2 hits against Brewster, 2 strikeouts as well. Here in the first inning, allows a 2-out walk to Stevens.
Brandon Berry, the cleanup hitter for a reason. Batting only .231, but a home run and a double, counting among his 6 hits. While that doesn't sound all that impressive on this anemic Kettleers offense, it's about as good as they get.
Well, and all those 6 hits have come in his last 18 at-bats, so swinging a very hot bat at the plate, and thus he escalates a bit in the lineup tonight, batting 4th.
Crook from the stretch now. Shakes off a couple signs from Kisner, and now Kisner will go out to talk to the lefty.
This is a star-studded battery that the Gatemen have tonight. Matt Crook, a potential first-round pick, and Andrew Kisner, a guy who could see himself go anywhere in the top 5 rounds depending on what he does next season. So the 2 of these guys headlining some stars on the Gatemen's roster.
First pitch is maybe an intentional pitch out. The throw down to second is well in time to get Stevens. A high fastball served as a pitch out, and Kisner easily throws out Stevens. Matt Crook gives up no hits and faces just 3 men. The Gatemen are coming to bat on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Back at Spillane Field, no score between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Wareham Gatemen. Gatemen coming to bat for the first time. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. We'll give you the defensive alignment for the Kettleers. Left to right across the outfield, Brett Stevens, Jackson Klein, Court Peterson. In the infield at third base, Brody Weiss. At shortstop, Michael Paez. His double play partner at second, Cole Fabio. At first, Brandon Berry. And behind the plate, Will Haney catching the lefty John Woodcock.
Woodcock this season 2-0 with a 1.25 ERA, 14-1 K-to-walk ratio. Mentioned that he's only started 1 game. That came in his last appearance. Before that, had 2 relief appearances against Brewster and Bourne, which culminated in 8 2/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, and then followed that up with a good start against Hyannis.
Kramer Robertson leading off for the Gatemen in the designated hitter position today. We've seen him at second base primarily. First pitch from Woodcock misses wide, ball 1. Woodcock making his second start of the year, 4th appearance. He pitched primarily in relief of King the first couple appearances, but now has found himself in a starting role as strike 1 is fouled out of play.
Robertson the DH tonight for the Gatemen, which allows Mark Karaviotis to enter into the lineup for the first time in the past 3 games for the Gatemen. Robertson not your typical DH, but he's been swinging the bat well in the leadoff spot.
1-1 hit in the air to left field. Stevens out, then in. Camps under it for out number 1. Now Jay Jabs, who, after getting off to a torrid start, has found his average slip down a little bit. Still among the league leaders in some of the counting categories, his 7 stolen bases towards the top and his 10 RBI. But the average down to 241. First pitch bunted in the air, foul down the third baseline.
Yeah, and Jabs has an 0-4 in 5 of his last 6 games for the Gatemen. That doesn't mean, though, that at any given moment he doesn't have the power to be a game changer, deposit one over the fence. We've seen all he can do, and really a 5-tool player. He showed it this far for the Gatemen.
The 0-1 to Jabs, hit in the air, foul, back and out of play over our heads.
Was that Wally that it just hit?
I don't think so. It sounded like something hard. I mean, Wally is a green monster.
That was my point.
Yeah.
No, Wally's occupying himself by signing beach balls and other artifacts for little kids.
0-2 to Jabs, just missing up and away. He's alongside Gary Gatemen, the Wareham mascot, and I guess there's a reason that Wally's in the big leagues and Gary is in independent college summer ball. The 1-2 hit foul, back, and over the screen. Wally just exudes professionalism, and Gary, I think, leaves a little bit to be desired.
Well, look at Gary just standing there with nothing to do, nothing to sign for any kids. Just a shameful performance on his part, and now he's wondering, what do I do with my hands?
1-2 to Jabs, strike 3 right down the middle, and quickly 2 down for Woodcock. Well, I'm surprised they let Gary within 50 feet of Wareham Middle School there. He looks a bit menacing, does he not?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You don't like him, I know that. I got my picture with him, and, you know, you got to do what you got to do. He is a fellow employee of the organization, but he just kind of, I don't know.
You haven't heard of the grassroots movement I'm starting called Stop Wally 2015?
Stop Gary.
That's what I meant, yeah. Stop Gary 2015.
We have no issues with Wally. Andrew Kisner taking strike 1. Kisner, if he had enough at-bats, and he probably will within the next couple games if he continues to play every day, would rank among the league leaders. Hit in the air, right center field, carrying a little bit, but Klein making a nice running catch in right center field that carried a bit further than I think everyone was anticipating. As it is, though, Klein puts it away for a quick 1-2-3 inning for the Kettleers and John Woodcock. We are through 1, no score on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. No score as we head to the top of the second inning between the Wareham Gatemen and the Cotuit Kettleers. Eric Bremer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien, who will be joining us a little bit later on in the broadcast. Matt Crook out to begin his second inning of work. He allowed a 2-out walk, but that walk was immediately erased by a caught stealing. Mike Roberts' team's notorious for their aggressiveness on the base paths, and while that can lead to some runs, it can also lead to getting run out of some threats as well.
They've started to run a little bit more since we last saw Cotuit, which was a little less than a week ago. They rank 3rd in the Cape Cod League in stolen bases at 25, but with that comes 17 caught stealing. So almost around 50%, slightly above 50% for the Cotuit Kettleers on the base paths this season. And when you execute a pitch out, as I think it was a pitch out, that professionally, like Crook and Kisner did, then it makes it really easy to hose down runners.
It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for the Kettleers here in the second inning. Crook back in the windup. Delivers a first pitch swinging strike to Brandon Berry. Looked like an off-speed pitch low in the zone.
It's so tantalizing and so unfortunate that we only get to see Crook for 2 innings tonight. I'm sure this Gateman staff wants to extend him even more, the coaching staff that is. But this is a rehab assignment for him, so their shiny new toy has to be put away after only 2 innings.
0-1 misses low and in. It's 1-1. And while things are almost certain to change, we've heard the names Blake Fox, Ian Hamilton, and Chase Spitzbarth as other people that might get some action on the rubber tonight. As the 1-1 misses low in the dirt and goes to the backstop, it's 2-1.
And just because Crook departs this game after 2 innings doesn't mean all the scouts and higher-up folk are going to depart. The guys scheduled to come in after him may not be as highly touted as Crook, but they're still definitely on the radar.
2-1 to Barry, hit on 2 hops to short. Grand Prix throws across, and on target to McKinnon for out number 1. Grand Prix, after dazzling defensively early in the season, had a couple rough games, and now after day off, 1 for 1 in his throws across to first.
You can see, though, that he definitely is the preferred option at shortstop for Cooper Ferris and this team. Mark Karaviotis can play short, but even when Grand Prix has been struggling, he's been trotted out there day in and day out.
Gene Cohn swears to bunt. He's immediately brushed back by a high and tight pitch and muttering either to himself or to Crook on the mound or to the situation in general, stepping back in the box with a 1-0 count. Doesn't swear to bunt that time. Instead, takes a ball just low. It's 2-0. Cohn on the year, batting .217, playing in his 18th game. Taking just low and away, it's quickly 3-0 with Michael Paez on deck. Crook walked 1 in the first, trying to avoid walking another one as he delivers a strike on the outside corner. It's 3-1. Cohn ready for the 3-1 from Crook. That one clipping the outside corner, maybe a generous outside corner there, at least from our perspective. As it is, the count runs full.
Kisner has talked with us before about the art of catching and the art of framing, and you saw it there, kind of a little flick of the thumb, pushing it back up and over the baseball to allow the home plate umpire, Billy McCollum, a better view.
Crook trying to come all the way back, misses just high. He does end up walking Cohn after getting 2 strikes on a 3-ball count. So Cohn will be at first for Michael Paez.
So Crook walks Cohn, and now to the plate Paez, who has 14 walks this season, which is tied for the most in the entire Cape League.
The average, pretty good too, at .318. Makes you wonder why he's batting 6th, but the machinations of Mike Roberts' mind are an enigma. Sometimes known to bat his best batter first and his leadoff hitter, so to speak, 7, 8, and 9. Dropping down the lineup to try and get the most at-bats for his best hitters.
Short leash with his pitchers, too.
In our first game against the Kettleers on Saturday, Gatemen trailed 3-2 coming into the 9th inning, and against 4 different pitchers, and with the sun setting, scored 2 to win. Another pitch out, and the back pick to first. He got him! Second out made on the base paths as Andrew Kisner cuts down Gene Cohn, straying too far from first.
Well, Cooper Ferris has told us before that he loves playing against Mike Roberts' coach teams. And why is that? Because he knows Mike Roberts probably better than any Cape League coach. Always seems to have a beat on what he's trying to do on the base paths. And I caught stealing so far on a pitch out, and then right there from Kisner, a back pick on another pitch out.
Count now 2-0. As the home plate umpire gets some more balls from the ball boy. So 2 walks, 2 outs on the base paths, and when it's all said and done, 5 up, 5 down for Crook as the 2-0 clips the inside corner. It's 2-1.
His breaking ball has been sharp today. Nothing that's hanging about that. It starts in the middle of the zone and then just darts down right as it crosses the plate. Excellent pitching so far from Matt Crook.
Crook with the 2-1 to Paez. Low in the dirt taken. And another 3-ball count. Although Crook did not walk anyone in his first appearance, we did see a little bit of this. Something that when a pitcher is successful, you say is effectively wild. When he's not successful, you say he's just wild. Yeah. Now with a 3-1 to Paez. Low in the dirt, ball 4. And another walk. Crook's third in 1 2/3 innings.
The catcher, number 17, Will Haney from Alabama.
That'll bring up Will Haney, who has had himself a pretty good last 48 hours. Taking the spot, in so many words, of Zach Collins, who was just on the Kettleers for a few games and then left. Collins, at his best, probably one of the best hitters in the Cape, as ball 1 is taken high.
Haney's the Luis Valbuena of this Cotuit Kettleers team.
Haney batting only 179 on the year, but his last game was a monster one against Yarmouth Dennis. 2 for 4, the 2 hits, home runs, and both in his last 2 plate appearances. 5 RBI, which doubled his season total to 10. Quickly 2-0.
Let's empty the book on Will Haney. 2 for his last 17, those last 2 hits, home runs. 7 hits all season long, again, only hitting 179. Of those 7 hits, 4 of them are home runs.
Pretty good.
That's an extreme home run ratio. One that either won't continue or his batting average is going to go up because he has so much pop.
Crook with the 2-0, missing low and in, ball 3. Kisner stops it. Takes a while to find it, but the runner stays where he is. So now 3-0 to Haney. Crook has walked the last 2 batters. He was bailed out after the first one when Andrew Kisner picked off Gene Cohn off of first base. But now Paez at first, Haney at the plate in a 3-0 count, and the 8-hitter Brody Weiss waiting on deck. 3-0 missing wide, ball 4. Third consecutive walk, 4th of the game for Crook. And now with 2 down, the Gatemen have a little bit of a threat going. Lawler out to talk to Crook, and might as well burn up that 1 mound visit an inning here after walking 3 straight. And Crook likely ending his outing after this inning. Might as well. Crook, you don't want to say digging deep in the second inning, but he knows that this is probably going to be the end of his night once that 6th out is recorded. It's a process, and now we're seeing some of the side effects of coming back from Tommy John surgery and just a little rust that Crook trying to shake off here in the CCBL. He'll face Brody Weiss, the third baseman. First pitch taken for a strike, the first strike that we've seen in a while.
And that mound conference between Lawler and Crook likely just, let's pound the zone here. Brody Weiss slumping as of late, only 1 for his last 18. Your stuff is exceptional, so if you can just locate it, let's get a ground ball and get out of this inning.
The average 140, the 0-1 swung on and missed in the dirt. Kisner keeps it in front of him, and the count quickly 0-2. You can't say Crook's been hit hard. He's yet to allow a hit. But 4 walks so far, 3 this inning, 2 of them on base. And he's put himself in a bit of a predicament. 1 more pitch, though, to Weiss, and he could get out of it. Crook takes the sign, comes to the set. Checking the runner, Paez at second, and delivering foul tip into the glove of Kisner, strike 3. So Matt Crook walks 3 in the second inning, but he does not allow a hit, and he strikes out Brody Weiss to likely end his outing. We head to the bottom of the second, no score. You're watching WCTV on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. We are in the bottom of the second inning. First pitch missing inside to David McKinnon. No score between the Gatemen and the Kettleers. Matt Crook walked 4, but did not allow a hit in his 2 innings of work, and Gatemen likely turning to their bullpen. The 1-0 hits the outside corner. It's 1-1. McKinnon has been very good all year. His average, his batting average, good for 3rd in the league. Currently at .364. Count now 2-1.
Have a guy in McKinnon hitting over .360. Michael Paez for the Kettleers hitting .318. His batting average ranks 2nd.
2-1 missing high. It's 3-1. Logan Sowers waiting on deck.
7th, rather. So 2 guys squaring off who don't possess an immense amount of pop, but 2 guys who always manage to find some holes.
Woodcock delivers low ball 4, and McKinnon is aboard with nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning.
It's been a walk fest so far. 5 total walks for both of these teams combined and less than 2 total innings.
Now Sowers stepping to the plate, who's trying to break a rough patch that he's been in. He has had trouble making contact, to put it mildly.
That's right. Struck out in his last 7 games in a row, 13 of his last 14 too. On the positive side, though, he put on a performance for the ages at Fenway Park yesterday. Hit one over the Green Monster seats.
It's a scout's cliche that a prospect has light tower power. After yesterday, we can say that Logan Sowers literally has light tower power. He hit it off of the light standard in left field over the Green Monster. 0-1 missing high and tight. It's now 1-1.
I don't want to say Sowers will never be a guy who bats for a high batting average, because that would just completely close your mind to any adjustments he could possibly make. But let's be honest, his bread and butter is his power. If he can discover a power stroke, this below 200 average isn't going to look so bad after that.
Woodcock checks McKinnon back at first. No hits for either side so far in this game, but 5 walks. 4 for the Kettleers and now 1 for the Gatemen. 1-1 misses up and away. It's now 2-1. McKinnon at first. He walked to lead off the inning. Woodcock sets and delivers. Hit on the ground, left side. Weiss to Fabio. On to first in time for the double play. So the leadoff walk by McKinnon is erased on a double play by Sowers. Now 2 down with nobody on for John Sternagel.
That ball got in on the hands of Sowers, and he hit it softly, but Brody Weiss was playing in on the grass, so it was an easy turn for him. Sowers made it close, though, because the second baseman, Fabio, looked like he had trouble getting the ball out of his glove and making the quick transfer, but he's able to get Sowers out at first, and just like that, the leadoff walk erased from McKinnon.
Now John Sternagel, who in limited action has gotten off to a good start this year, batting .444 as he takes strike 1. 4 hits and 9 at bats, so take it with a grain of salt. But he's looked pretty good at the plate.
Yeah, after an 0-for-1 start to his season, 2 straight games in which he's had 2 straight 2-for-4 appearances. So making his 4th start here tonight.
Count quickly 0-2 here, as he'll try and keep the bottom of the second alive. Pitch missing wide. It's now 1-2. Woodcock from the windup delivers the 1-2. Hit well on a line to left field, but right to Brett Stevens, who puts it away for out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Gatemen in the bottom of the second. After 2, no score, no hits for that matter, between Cotuit and Wareham. You're watching WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Back at Spillane Field, no score as we head to the top of the 3rd inning. It is a new pitcher for the Gatemen, and that new pitcher, Blake Fox. Fox, another lefty, although Fox doesn't throw nearly as hard as Crook does. He's known for his command and his excellent pickoff move. He hopes he doesn't have to use it a whole lot. We saw him first in the game at YD, an eventual win over the Red Sox. He'll face 9-1-2 for the Kettleers here in the top of the third inning.
We know it's been documented, a pitcher by committee game for the Gatemen so far. Crook started, only went 2 innings, and now he gives way to another starter in Blake Fox. So not as much of a committee as you'd normally think. These 2 starters have gone deep into games before, and for Fox, he's trying to serve as a bridge between the actual relievers later on in the game. His lone start this season came against YD through 5 innings, only allowed 1 earned run.
First pitch right back to him on a hop, throws on to first, and that's an easy way to get an out. 1 pitch, 1 out. Cole Fabio is retired, and that'll turn around the order for the Kettleers. Leadoff hitter Court Peterson stepping to the plate. Still no hits for either side. Gatemen have surrendered 4 walks, and the Kettleers have also surrendered a walk themselves, but Gatemen last inning wrapped into a double play, and twice now the Gatemen have taken runners off the bases, once in the form of a caught stealing and another in the form of a pickoff. Strike 1 to Court Peterson.
Notice still all the scouts behind home plate who have stayed here at Spillane Field on hand to watch Blake Fox now take the mound for the Gatemen, and that's because Blake Fox is still on the national radar. After a freshman and sophomore season in which he went a combined 18-0, one of the 3 finalists for National Pitcher of the Year, he's been stellar in his collegiate career, and his name is definitely well known.
0-2 skips to the backstop. Court Peterson hit a little pop-up in on the hands a little bit to the first baseman David McKinnon to start this game. The 1-2 to Peterson, hit on the ground, rolled to second base. Karaviotis has to hurry. He throws on to first in time for out number 2. That'll bring up Jackson Klein, who struck out looking against Crook in his first plate appearance. See Karaviotis at second base. He's a natural shortstop at Oregon, but playing second base here because the Gatemen have liked what they've seen from Preston Grand Prix. And that's not a bad thing, to be playing second base when you have the range of a shortstop.
Not at all, and the Gatemen feature a lineup like this quite frequently. Their first baseman, David McKinnon, an outfielder by trade. So their right side of the infield has more range than quite a few right sides of any infield in the Cape.
Strike 1 hits the outside corner. Andrew Kalika, standing in center field, has displaced at times Charlie Warren, who can play a perfectly capable center field, but really adds to the range when he's in one of the corner outfield positions. Flip down the right field line and fair into the corner. Jabs getting around on it and sending it back to second. Wide turn, but Klein will be content with a 2-out single, the first hit of the game.
Yeah, and as much range as this right side of the field had, nothing they can do about that one. That ball was dropping all the way. Jab showcases the strong arm, and like you said, very wise by Klein to take a big turn but not ultimately challenge the arm of Jabs.
That'll bring up Brett Stevens. He walked with 2 down in the first inning. Then on the first pitch, he tried to steal second, and, well, we aren't sure if it was a planned pickoff. It was a high and outside fastball that forced Kisner out of his crouch, and he threw an on-target strike to second base to get Stevens to end the inning. Klein on first. We'll see if he's in motion against the lefty Fox, who has a very good pickoff move. That's one of the things that he's known for.
So good of a pickoff move that it borderlines on a balk. We saw last time he towed the rubber against YD. Their head coach voiced some displeasure about how much he circulates into that gray area of balk or great pickoff move.
And you can't see Mike Roberts voicing his displeasure about
Not
anything
at all.
tonight, can you? No. Stevens yet to see a pitch after a couple pickoff throws. Facing his second lefty of the night. Another pickoff throw, and Klein is back without a dive.
other than the angle at which Fox picks over to first base, that's one reason why it makes it so deceptive. But I think the other thing that runners have trouble with is when he picks off over there, his head then turns over to home plate, and he kind of does a blind pickoff move or throwing it over there with his head turning at the last second.
That time it actually happened twice. He looked towards first as he picked up his right leg, looked home, looked back to first, looked home, and then finally
kind of ducks his head
and
then goes to first.
Very deceptive, and perhaps enough to keep the runners in their places as ball one misses inside.
For a base runner, though, you shouldn't be reading his eyes or his head. You should be reading his torso and the direction of his front foot.
Fox to Stevens with the 1-0 missing low. It's 2-0. The Gatemen as a team on the active roster have an ERA of 1.92. Looks a lot better because most of the guys who were giving up runs early on in the year have now left the team.
With that, though, comes the fact that Dalton Jeffries is gone, Anthony Kay is gone, and Bailey Clark is gone.
They're still on the official point streak roster, though, so their low ERAs do count towards that.
Correct, but the Gatemen no longer get to benefit of their services, making 3 starts every single week by the 3 of them.
Clark at 3-0 with a .56 ERA has joined Team USA. The 2-1 hits the outside corner. Another generous call on the outside corner. And the count 2-2. Clark, though, has enough wins and a low enough ERA and enough innings pitched where he'll probably be close to the top of the leaderboards for quite a while until his innings run out. Before the 2-2, another throw over to first, and Klein is now wise to the move, or perhaps has just given up trying to have an aggressive lead.
You can see him talking to his first base coach saying, yes, I got this. I see what he's doing in his pickoff move, and I'm able to discern whether or not he's going to the plate.
He goes, off-speed pitch, hit foul and out of play down the left field line.
Looked like he would have had that base stolen had his batter in Stevens not fouled that ball off. Could have been a hit and run, though.
And while Klein might think he has figured out Fox, he might have just guessed right as well. Again, the Kettleers have already made 2 outs on the base paths, 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Fox with the 2-2 to Stevens. Off-speed pitch, gets a strikeout swinging. So the Kettleers get the first hit of the ball game, but do not score. In fact, don't advance their runner past first base. We head to the bottom of the third, no score between Cotuit and Wareham on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. As we head to the bottom of the third inning, Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. And Megan, you have something that Andrew Kisner would really like to do before he ends his playing career.
That's right, Eric, and you guys were talking about it before in the broadcast. Andrew Kisner slotted behind the backstop tonight. We've seen him over at third. We've seen him at first, his first full year as a catcher for NC State, and we talked about how NC State needed a catcher. He thought it would improve his draft stock, so he decided to slot in there, but he told us in an interview earlier this week that, he would play anywhere in the field, and in fact, he would love to play all 9 positions in one game, and, maybe we'll see him do that here this summer. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Megan, as strike 1 is taken by Mark Karaviotis, the 7-hitter for the Gatemen. Second pitch, hit in the air, pop up in the infield right side. Second baseman Cole Fabio takes a few hard steps back towards the end, but puts it away for out number 1.
I think what Andrew Kisner's trying to tell us is that he wants to be like Buster Posey. Buster Posey, his favorite baseball player, and Buster Posey has played all 9 positions in a baseball game before back at Florida State.
I think there are a lot of people who want to be like Buster Posey.
Oh, yeah, I for sure want to be like Buster Posey when I grow up.
Now, Kisner has probably the hardest position already down. He's a catcher. Preston Grand Prix offers it the first pitch and sends it out to shallow right field. Court Peterson barely has to move. He puts it away for out number 2. So which of the remaining positions would you consider to be the hardest for him to pick up? Would you say shortstop?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think shortstop requires the most range, although he's already on the left side of the infield. He's a native third baseman as well.
So maybe center field would be the most difficult because he's obviously used to fielding ground balls from that left side of the infield.
Gatemen current center fielder Andrew Kalika takes a ball low.
I think what's weird about Kisner, not weird, but remarkable about Kisner is that he shifted over to catcher. More on that in a second.
Hit in the air, shallow left center field. Left fielder Brett Stevens runs over, and he catches it for out number 3. 9 up, 9 down for the Gatemen, their first trip through the order. We head to the top of the 4th. No score between Cotuit and Wareham on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. No score as we head to the top of the 4th inning between the Wareham Gatemen and the Cotuit Kettleers. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. Blake Fox out to begin his 2nd inning of work. Matt Crook started this game, but he was on a pitch count in his recovery from Tommy John surgery. 1 hit so far for the Kettleers. It was a single back in the 3rd inning. Only time the Kettleers got a runner to second base was in the 2nd. In the midst of 3 straight walks by Crook, he eventually got out of that trouble, though. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for Fox. Brandon Barry leading off. He grounded out to short his first time up.
Finishing that thought on Kisner, it's just remarkable at this late in his baseball career development that he can go from an infield position to behind the plate. Normally it's the opposite. Normally you see guys give up catching and go to a different spot because they just don't project there at the higher level. Kisner, though, staring the Major League Draft right in the eyes, decides this could be beneficial to me. It's incredibly difficult to learn all the nuances of catching in less than a year now before the MLB draft and his potential selection, but he's deciding to do that, and it's a huge risk-reward type thing. If he can master it, then yes, he absolutely will skyrocket up draft boards.
Especially if he continues to hit 300 in the Cape.
Well, and there's a spot for anyone in a lineup who can hit 300 in the Cape, whether you're a catcher, whether you're a first baseman or a third baseman.
0-2 to Barry gets a swing and a miss. Fox has his 2nd strikeout and 1 down here in the top of the 4th. Fox, his first time out, I mentioned, beating the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. He pitched 5 innings and got the winning decision in that game. 1 run allowed, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. So another guy with an ERA under 2. As ball 1 misses low to Gene Cohn, who walked and was picked off first his first time up.
I think it makes sense to follow Matt Crook with Blake Fox. Crook, kind of the lightning spark, the unknown right now, working back from a rehab assignment. Fox, kind of the opposite. You know exactly what you're going to get from him, and that's a lot of strikes and a lot of strikes around the knees, not a lot that will be hit hard.
What we don't know is how long he will go. 2-0 to Cohn is a high strike. It's 2-1. He's fully stretched out. He was a starter at Rice, and he pitched 5 innings on June 20th, which was almost 2 weeks ago. But they also have Ian Hamilton and Shea Spitzbarth slated to pitch in this game as well. The 2-1 to Cohn, an off-speed pitch, missing just high. It's 3-1 with Michael Paez on deck.
I'd anticipate this Wareham Gatemen coaching staff to ride Blake Fox as long as they possibly can. Hamilton and Spitzbarth, both 1-2 inning guys.
Hit well down the left field line. Sowers chasing it, going into foul territory and making the catch. Nice running catch by Logan Sowers, the left fielder, going towards an area that we're told is in play, but we have our doubts about the safety of that. The uprights of the football field are down there.
A lot of foul territory and a lot of open space for the left fielder Sowers to be able to make a catch like that.
Score that FF7 as Michael Paez steps to the plate. He walked and got as far as second his first time out. He calls time to step out of the box. Those uprights for the Wareham Vikings, local high school team that plays their football games here in the fall. Strike 1 hits the inside corner. It's also the reason for the seating area in left field. Looks impressive, but it's mainly there for the football team, and we won't see it fill up until the All-Star game later this month. Ball 1 missing just outside.
That'll be a fun time.
It will.
Hopefully we get to contribute to the broadcast in some facet. Kind of been left in the dark so far about what we'll be doing, but since it's at Spillane Field, would hope we have some role.
1-1 hit on a hop to Sternagel, throws across the diamond for a quick 1-2-3 inning. We are through 3.5. Fox has pitched 2 scoreless innings after Crook. We head to the bottom of the 4th. No score between Cotuit and Wareham on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. No score as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. John Woodcock has been almost perfect so far, allowing just 1 walk. That was in the 2nd inning, and it was immediately erased on a 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Logan Sowers.
I think our camera picked up someone in the left field bleachers, and I think that guy sitting there was an ASU alum. Go Devs, forks up.
I got a nice surprise. I got to have a nice conversation with a former Big Cat, Northwestern Wildcat pitcher, Nick Fryer, who is here covering the Cape League for the New Bedford Times. I think I announced a game that he started in my freshman year, but a couple years older than me and not quite as deep into the broadcasting game as I am now. Nice little Northwestern posse here tonight. Me, the field reporter on our broadcast team, Megan O'Brien, one of the broadcasters for the Kettleers, Axel Boada. Go Cats. Leadoff hitter Kramer Robertson flew out to left his first time up. Taking in, on the inside corner, strike 1.
Your friend seems to be taking the path less traveled. Former player going the writing way rather than the broadcasting way.
The 0-1 to Robertson on the outside corner, strike 2. He's from the area, and so I think he's familiar with these teams out here, and I don't know him all that well, but he provided some illuminating insight in the Northwestern baseball program in a period of transition, hiring a new baseball coach just a few weeks ago. Kramer Robertson chases strike 3, and he's down on 3 pitches, out number 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. Now Jay Jabs, who had a strikeout of his own, this one looking back in the 1st inning. Gatemen still looking for their first hit. John Woodcock has been in cruise control as he delivers the first pitch to Jabs, just low for ball 1. Game moving along at a pretty good clip. We're less than an hour into it, and we're in the bottom of the 4th inning.
And here comes the standstill.
1-0 missing outside. It's 2-0. The breeze picking up a little bit. Felt it for the first time all evening in the broadcast booth. It's blowing out a little bit to right field. We saw it perhaps affect the flight of Kisner's fly ball to right center back in the 1st inning. Strike 1. Hits the outside corner. It's now 2-1. Woodcock takes the sign, delivers the 2-1 to Jabs. Poked foul down the left field line and out of play.
Gatemen continued to reside in 2nd place in the West, 9-9, game and a half back of the 1st place Hyannis Harbor Hawks, trying to also stave off a very impressive run that Bourne's been on. They're back to 500 after losing their first 6 games.
Jabs gets a piece of a high fastball and fouls it straight back to the screen. It's still 2-2.
And for the Gatemen, run differential still best in the West at +17. Second in the Cape to Orleans, who's having a heck of a season over in the East. But for the Gatemen, these past 2 games, the offense has kind of sputtered.
Jabs again just gets enough to keep the at-bat alive, sending it back to the screen. Still 2-2.
They remain the highest run-scoring team in the Cape, still first in runs scored, that department. But that'll change quickly if they can't get their act together, being no hit so far by John Woodcock.
2-2 to Jabs. Foul tip out of the glove of Haney. I didn't hear anything, but evidently changing the trajectory of the ball and popping it out of Haney's glove. Woodcock takes the sign, delivers the 2-2 to Jabs. Hit on the ground. On a couple hops, the second baseman, Fabio, throws on to first for out number 2. That'll bring up Kisner, who had the closest thing to a hit so far this evening for the Gatemen. He hit what looked to be a pretty routine fly ball to right center field, but it kept carrying and carrying almost out to the warning track, where Jackson Klein, the center fielder, finally tracked it down.
And in batting practice, Kisner was consistently working on shooting the ball to that right center, right field gap. He knows he can pull the ball. That's something he's choosing to work on, and that materialized in his first at-bat.
Taking ball 1. In batting practice, he was getting pitches from Cooper Ferris, and he was either requesting or demanding pitches outside, inside, middle, and he was trying to hit the ball where it was pitched. The 1-0. Sent on the ground on a hop to Brody Weiss. Has plenty of time. He throws on to first for out number 3. We are through 4. Gatemen still don't have a hit. Cotuit still doesn't have a run. We head to the 5th on the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. Back at Splain Field, no score between the Wareham Gatemen and the Cotuit Kettleers as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Blake Fox still out there. He's going to begin his 3rd inning of work. And we received, just a few minutes ago, a little bit of insight, expanding on something that we talked about earlier on in the broadcast. We talked about Andrew Kisner and his transition from third base to catcher. And what we did not know is that during high school, he was a shortstop. Thanks to the Kisner family for notifying us of that via our pressbox@gateman.org email account. And so I guess shortstop would not be very difficult for him to play if he were to play all 9 positions in a game.
And I'm kicking myself because Kisner has told us that before. We were talking to him before one game, and he said, yes, I've played shortstop. That's where I've played my entire life. I was an All-American there, as was highlighted in this email, an all-state shortstop. So for him, yes, a very versatile player. So I guess I take back my comment. Let's go with center field as the most difficult position for him to learn. But he's an athlete, so that probably wouldn't be difficult for him either.
And if the Kisner family is watching and they know that Andrew played center field in middle school and he was excellent at that as well, then please let us know. Strike 1 to Will Haney, the 7-hitter, walked his first time up. Off-speed pitch, gets a big swing and a miss. It's quickly 0-2. Haney, as we mentioned, has been feast or famine. In his last game, his last 2 at-bats, he feasted back-to-back home runs in his final 2 plate appearances against YD. Walked his first time up. The 0-2, chopped on the ground, might have gotten the glove of Fox. Grand Prix, deep up the middle, throws on to first for out number 1. I'm going to put that down as 6-3 because if it hit the glove of Fox, it did not alter the trajectory of it at all.
Show me some range, Preston Grand Prix. A great play from him ranging up the middle. You're right, the fact that it hit off Fox's glove didn't alter the trajectory, but it may have slowed it down at least slightly. Grand Prix, though, still in the perfect spot, able to get there easily. Strong throw on to first in time for the out.
Ball 1 misses up and into Brody Weiss. We mentioned this when Weiss came up in our first meeting with Cotuit as he fouls the 1-0 off and out of play. It's 1-1. The son of manager Walt Weiss with the Rockies. And, of course, playing for Mike Roberts, the father of Brian Roberts. A father-son connection here as he sends the 1-1. Nice diving stop by Sternagel on the line. Throws across in time. David McKinnon with the stretch after an excellent play by John Sternagel at the hot corner.
Yeah, that had extra bases written all over it. Sternagel had other thoughts, though, and full extension lays out. A great play from him. saving a potential runner in scoring position for the Cotuit Kettleers.
With 2 down and nobody on base, Cole Fabio steps to the plate. He hit a grounder on 1 hop back to the pitcher. It was Fox in his first plate appearance. He squares the bunt, takes ball 1.
Can we go 3 for 3 here with great defensive plays in this top of the 5th inning? First it was Grand Prix up the middle, didn't have to leave his feet, and then it was Sternagel who did leave his feet, saved extra bases from Weiss.
Ball 2 up and away. After the control issues of Matt Crook, who started this game for the Gatemen.
Look how, sorry to interrupt, but look how close he is to us.
Oh, man. I don't feel good about that. After the control issues of Crook, who walked 4 in his 2 innings, Fox has not walked a batter. The only one over the minimum was a single to Jackson Klein with 2 outs in the 3rd. 2-0 to Fabio, half swing. He went, and it's 2-1. Blake Fox with the 2-1. Missing inside, it's 3-1 with the leadoff hitter Court Peterson on deck. Fox looking for the zone with the 3-1. Hit sharply to left field. Sowers back and ranging over towards the line to make the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for the Gatemen. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Still no score on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. No score as we head to the bottom of the 5th at Spillane Field. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. Wareham Gatemen still looking for their first hit of the game. Their only base runner was a walk in the 2nd inning. It was immediately erased on a double play.
Yeah, so the Gatemen have gone down 1-2-3 in order these first 4 innings. Trying to break up the monotony and trying to break up the great pitching performance so far from John Woodcock.
David McKinnon stepping to the plate. He was that base runner who drew a leadoff walk in the 2nd. It was erased on the double play off the bat of Sowers. John Woodcock for the Kettleers has been excellent so far. From the windup, delivering the first pitch on the inside corner, strike 1. We got some shots of Gary Gateman, who's now making the rounds through the crowd, and he just makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what it is.
What would possess him and what would go through his mind to say, hey, I'm going to go sit next to a little kid?
I don't know. Gary Gateman looks like a young Walter Matthau, and I don't say that in a flattering sense.
Know your role, Gary Gateman.
The 0-2 to McKinnon. Got him swinging. So McKinnon retired on 3 pitches. He's out number 1 in the 5th. Gateman still looking for their first hit. Logan Sowers stepping to the plate. He wrapped into a 5-4-3 double play. Still struggling to make contact. First pitch to him, hit on the ground to 3rd again. Weiss has it, this time throwing across the diamond without the detour to 2nd in time for out number 2. That'll bring up John Sternagel, who made an excellent defensive play, snaring a 2-hopper down the 3rd base line in the last half inning. Robbed Brody Weiss of an extra base hit.
This Cotuit Kettleers team, a very different team, or rather a team trending in the opposite direction than that same team that the Gatemen faced less than a week ago. At that time, the Gatemen handed Cotuit their 7th straight loss. Coming into this game, Cotuit's won their past 2, which happened to be both after they lost to the Gatemen, so trying to extend their winning streak to 3 games tonight. They've been playing some good baseball, an 11-1 win over YD in their last game.
0-1 to Sternagel, misses low, it's 1-1. Sternagel hit the ball hard his last time up, lining out to the left fielder Brett Stevens. And while a win's a win and a loss is a loss, Cotuit played well for 8 of the 9 innings against Wareham on Saturday. Big swing and a miss on a low and inside pitch. It's now 1-2.
Yeah, it was the only time all season in which the Gatemen came back from a deficit and came back to win a game. They were down by 3 runs and then scored 2 in the 9th to take the lead. It was Connor Beck coming around to score on a wild pitch, that game's go-ahead run.
Woodcock with the 1-2, missing high. It's 2-2. Woodcock has only been pitching in the stretch for, I believe, 2 pitches. Beginning of the Sowers at bat in the second. 2-2 missing inside. Count runs full with Karaviotis waiting on deck.
A gutsy take, but it pays off for Sternagel. That pitch very close, especially with 2 strikes. Tough for him not to pull the trigger. But he turns out to benefit, and now pitch away from drawing a 2-out walk.
The full count pitch to Sternagel. Hit in the air, center field. Shallow. Klein coming in, diving, making a tumbling catch. Jackson Klein had to cover a lot of real estate, but he comes in and puts it away. Gatemen still looking for their first hit. We're through 5. We head to the 6th. No score between Cotuit and Wareham on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Peace up, A-Town down. Yeah, yeah.
We head to the top of the 6th inning at Spillane Field. No score between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Wareham Gatemen. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. Gatemen do not have a hit, and the Kettleers on the other side have just one. It has been a pitcher's duel. We'll see who blinks first. Kettleers will send 1, 2, and 3 in their lineup to face Blake Fox, who has been very, very good, beginning his 4th inning of work. Court Peterson 0 for 2 on the day, like so many others, taking ball 1. He popped out to first base in his first plate appearance and then grounded out to second back in the 3rd. (1-0) a check swing. He did not go around, and it wasn't a strike, so it's 2-0. Fox has been sitting 86 to 89. Those velocities courtesy of our MLB scout liaison, Brian Shropshire, as the 2-0 is fouled off a foot, or maybe even higher. Peterson limping around. Evidently got him somewhere on the right knee. It looks like he's motioning to the inside of that knee. Not very often you get a foul tip or a foul ball off the knee, and so he'll wait that one out, and everyone else around home plate trying to accommodate his grimacing and his wincing. Home plate's been brushed off. Kisner's had a chat with Fox, and now we'll step back in with the 2-1. Fox winds and delivers, half swing. This time he did go around, and the count now 2-2.
I think Court Peterson may need to purchase some of Connor Beck's knee guards that we saw on him. I don't know if that would have done much, but any padding there would have certainly helped that.
2-2 hit back and foul behind home plate. Not sure if we'll see Beck tonight. Only 4 plate appearances on the year. He did come in as a pinch runner in the Cotuit game and score the eventual game-winning run. But yeah, we noticed when everyone was wearing shorts during BP, he had some knee pads on, soft, spongy pads, along to go with his compression shorts. The 2-2 hit weakly right to the second baseman, Karaviotis. He puts it away for out number 1. And I asked him, is that something you wear during games? Because I don't see that very often. Sometimes you see basketball players, increasingly so, wear the compression shorts all the way down to the calves or even lower. And he says, yeah, might as well, right? If you're going to be sliding and diving around, especially on this gravel infield, which is a peculiarity to say the least.
Yeah, I know an intramural sports athlete who wears knee pads like that. It's myself.
First pitch.
Not joking either.
Jackson Klein on the outside corner for a strike. Klein has the only hit of this game for either side. Struck out looking in the first, but then singled. Little looper down the right field line in the 3rd inning. If this game gets out of hand, we can talk more about your intramural escapades. Ball 1 missing inside.
I'm just saying they're not as uncommon as one would think. They're available for sure.
more in the baseball community, though, than any other sport, I think. Helps when you slide. You don't want to be breaking open that scab on your knee that opens up every time.
No reason not to, I guess. Fox with one down, the 1-1. On the outside corner again. A pretty wide strike zone tonight we've seen for both sides. For both sides and on both sides. I've remarked on some outside pitches called strikes and some inside pitches.
Yeah, I think this is the first time this season that we've seen Billy McCullum behind home plate for the Gatemen, at least when we're given the umpires, or when Point Streak documents the umpires. I don't think his name has showed up yet. So yeah, very big strike zone, and that's been contributing to the pitcher's duel.
Klein takes the 1-2 bounce in the dirt. It's now 2-2. Fox, if he continues to pitch well and get through this inning, we'll see his ERA decrease to 1 flat. Hit on the ground to third, stern angle across the diamond for out number 2. Another routine out. He had 5 one-run innings in his start against YD, and if he gets 4 shutout innings, 5 plus 4, my Northwestern education tells me that that is an ERA of 1.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And you said you haven't even taken a math class yet.
Did they teach you that at Arizona State?
No, I haven't taken a math class either.
There you go.
Well, that's what a good high school education does.
Exactly.
It's where calculus comes into play.
Brett Stevens 0 for 1 in 2 plate appearances. First pitch swinging, loops one softly into left, and it hops to Logan Sowers. A little bit of a rough bounce. Almost got past Sowers, but he corrals it. Second hit of the game for the Kettleers, and now another 2-out hit. It'll be Brandon Berry.
That ends a streak of 9 consecutive batters retired at the plate by Blake Fox. And now with 2 outs, Brandon Berry, who arguably is the hottest hitter on this Kettleers team, will have a chance to do some damage.
A combination of Matt Crook and Blake Fox have cooled him off so far tonight. He's 0 for 2. Grounded out to short against Crook and struck out swinging against Fox. And now with a runner aboard for the first time in a while, Fox gets to show off his nifty little pickoff move. Fox comes to a set, delivers, and it's chopped foul down the first base line. And I'm perhaps thinking too much into this, but do you think Blake Fox wears his pant legs up for a reason, showing off those stirrups? Because part of his deception is the way his feet move, and if you're drawing attention to your feet by the runner, that might have a marginal difference. A very, very small margin, but a marginal difference. What do you think of that?
No, I think you're reading too much into it. I'd say lefties in general are more inclined to wear their pants up than right-handers are. See Andrew Kalika in center field, who bats left-handed. His pants are up.
We're a rare breed, us lefties.
Jay Jabs,
yeah.
left-handed hitter, pants are up in right field. Evan Hill wears his pants up. The list goes on.
Fox staring down the runner at first, delivering the 0-1, swung on and missed. It's quickly 0-2 to the dangerous Berry. Stevens at first. He reached with just the second hit of the game for either side. Both of them belong to the Kettleers. Blake Fox trying to stand him. Another throw over to first. Again, Stevens back without a dive. The count 0-2. Blake Fox pitching to Brandon Berry. Got him swinging. For the second time in 2 at-bats, Blake Fox strikes out Brandon Berry, this time with a runner aboard. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Gatemen still looking for their first hit. You're watching WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. No score as we head to the bottom of the 6th at Spillane Field. Wareham Gatemen still looking for their first hit against John Woodcock. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. Megan, you have something else on us. You've been giving us so much useful information. What do you have for us this time?
Thanks, guys. Pitching duel tonight here at Spillane, Cotuit, and Wareham, and pitching has been the Gatemen's strongest point this season, and it showed last week with Evan Hill. He was named the Coca-Cola Pitcher of the Week. I caught up with him yesterday at Fenway, and he didn't even know he got the award at that time, but speaking to him earlier today, he just said, you know, he didn't expect to be back in the Cape League, was hoping to get drafted, but he's just had such a tremendous experience out here, and winning that Coca-Cola Pitcher of the Week award just was a nice little cherry on top so far for his great summer. So look for more production from the Gatemen's pitching staff and also Evan Hill. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Megan. And if the pattern continues, we'll get an email from Evan Hill's family telling us that Evan actually won the Coca-Cola Pitcher of the Week back in high school. Count 1-1 to Karaviotis.
We
now
have
2-1.
We have had an email regarding Evan Hill this season, coming from the kind grandparents of Jarrett Reinflesh, I believe, who were talking about how we had possibly confused Evan Hill and Evan Bell, which was a very real possibility, but one that I'm not sure all our viewers were aware of. Evan Hill and Evan Bell both came into that game, hence the possible confusion on our part or any of our viewers' part.
Count now 2-2. I believe that was the nanny and pop-pop of Jarrett Reinflesh. Hit into shallow center field. Klein again. This time doesn't have to lay out. He puts it away for out number 1. Now we're committed to getting names and pronunciations correct, so while technically that probably is the grandparents of Jarrett Reinflesh, we want to address them as they address themselves in the email, Nanny and Pop Reinflesh. 1 down. That'll bring up Preston Grand Prix. He flew out to right his first time up. Woodcock winds and delivers, strike 1. The only blemish on Woodcock's night, a walk in the 2nd inning to lead off the 2nd inning, but then it was quickly erased on a 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Logan Sowers. 0-1 just missing. It's now 1-1.
2 takes to start off the at-bat for Preston Grand Prix. He's only walked once in his past 11 games, so slumping a little bit at the plate, seeing some more pitches could be a recipe for more success.
Squares to bunt, pulls it away, and takes a strike on the inside corner. It's 1-2.
And it could just be me, but I feel like he's a bit more on top of the plate in this at-bat than he has been in times past. Trying to protect that inside, or rather that outside portion of the plate.
1-2, broken bat, grounder, rolled to short. Paez scoops it up, throws on to first. In time, he got him. A nice play by the shortstop Mike Paez, keeping this no-hitter intact.
And I guess that's a side effect of scooting a little bit closer to the plate. You're more susceptible to vulnerability on the inside portion of the plate. And I think Woodcock, at least unconscientiously, took advantage of that, went on the inside portion and broke the bat of Grand Prix.
With 2 down in the 6th, it's the 9-hitter Andrew Kalika taking inside, almost hit him. It's ball 1.
Kalika would be a prime candidate for a base hit right now, the first one of the ball game for the Gatemen. 4 starts this season, 6 for 13, so a hair under 500.
1-0 hits the outside corner to even up the count. Nobody stirring in the Cotuit bullpen. The 1-1 to Kalika misses outside. It's 2-1. So we take that to mean that this is Woodcock's game, unless or until he reaches a pitch count or he starts giving up some hits. The 2-1 to Kalika, hit well, right field. Peterson back, turning around. This one is gone. What a way to end the no-hitter, a solo shot for Andrew Kalika, his first home run of the year. And the Gatemen lead 1-0.
Woodcock comes inside to Preston Grand Prix, doesn't pay the price. Here he comes inside to Kalika, and certainly does. Got his hands through the strike zone, located barrel to baseball, and just killed that one over in right field.
I would be shocked if Andrew Kalika doesn't find himself batting a little bit higher than 9th in the coming days. He's been swinging a bat that's too hot to ignore.
No hitter over, shutout over. And the Kettleers suddenly trailing by a score of 1-0. Kramer Robertson 0 for 2 on the day takes strike one.
Implications of this, Gatemen 7-1 this season when scoring first. When their opponent scores first, they fall to 2-8. So definitely big that they pushed a run across before their opponent.
0-1, another strike. It's quickly 0-2. Robertson has something to say about that. Only 9 outs to get for the Gatemen. This game has moved along quite quickly. Already in the bottom of the 6th. The 0-2 to Robertson, missing low. Haney inadvertently spikes the ball into the ground, so things will be cycled out. Woodcock still from the windup, delivering the 1-2 to Robertson, high and tight. And that one got him, I believe, in the bill of the helmet. Robertson is okay. The trainer, perhaps as part of policy, going out to check on him. Anything that is up in the head or neck area, at least in the NCAA, requires a trainer visit, and I believe the rule holds here in the CCBL.
Yeah, I think that more nicked the bill of Robertson than completely struck his helmet. Still, though, cause for concern, and now Cooper Ferris going to head over and have a word with the crew over at first base.
Asking him what his name is and what year it is, what month it is. It's now July. Might actually get that one wrong if you're not paying attention. But he'll stay in the game as trainer walks back to the dugout. Ferris walks back to the third base coach's box. And for not having a base runner for most of the game, a home run and now a hit by pitch, that'll bring up Jabs with 2 down here in the 6th. Haney, we've been told, has a pretty good arm behind home plate, but with 2 down, Robertson might be going here, trying to get into scoring position for Jabs. The lefty Woodcock throws to the plate, and it goes to the backstop. Robertson was off with a pitch, a big turnaround second. He'll stay there. So a stolen base, and it could have been a lot worse.
That ball almost hit Jabs. He danced out of the way, and I think that sort of distracted the catcher, Haney, who then let that ball get to the backstop, and here comes Mike Roberts.
Roberts, known for his quick hook. Just a few minutes ago, John Woodcock was working on a no-hitter. A home run, a hit by pitch, and a stolen base later. And although we have not seen a signal down to the bullpen, Roberts taking his time. Looks like this will just be a mound visit.
There are arms warming up in the Cotuit bullpen. Looks like a left-hander down there. For the Gatemen, a bonfire in theirs and some stirring. I don't think any action yet.
There's a view of the Kettleers bullpen. It is a left-handed pitcher, and as soon as we can get a number on that body, we'll let you know who that is. But at least for the time being, it looks like Woodcock will be given an opportunity to get out of this inning, and if the Kettleers can score some runs in the top of the 7th, get him a win.
That may also be some gamesmanship there by Mike Roberts, trying to stymie the momentum that the Gatemen have here and have created in the 6th inning. A home run from Kalika, hit by pitch to Robertson, and then he takes second base on what would have been a stolen base, but what ends up being a pass ball.
The 1-0 to Jabs on the outside corner to even up the count.
Am I thinking correct on that? Will he be awarded a stolen base?
Yes, he will. He was off on the pitch. Had he gone to third, there would have been a wild pitch as well involved, allowing him to advance. But just a stolen base in the books, even though we know the full story. With Robertson at second, the 1-1 to Jabs, missing outside 2-1. If you're just joining us, the Gatemen came into this inning, the bottom of the 6th, without having a hit to their name. The first hit of the game, though, with 2 down, was a doozy. Andrew Kalika with a solo shot to right field, followed up by a Kramer Robertson hit by pitch and a stolen base. He's now at second, the 2-1. Missing outside, it's 3-1 with first base open and Andrew Kisner on deck. We'll see how aggressive Woodcock is to the lefty jabs. Checking the runner and delivering to the plate. High fastball, fouled straight back. Timed it up, just couldn't get the barrel on it. And now the count full. Jabs looking for his first hit of the game. Woodcock checks second and delivers the 3-2, strike three looking. That'll do it for the Gatemen, but they get their first hit, their first run, a home run by Andrew Kalika. We head to the top of the seventh, 1-0 Gatemen over the Kettleers on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. We are in the top of the seventh inning here at Spillane Field, and finally, some score. It's 1-0 Gatemen after an Andrew Kalika solo home run in the bottom of the sixth inning. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. This has been a very quickly moving game, made even quicker by the success of Blake Fox, who's out to begin his fifth inning of work.
Yeah, Fox has been great since taking over for the starter Matt Crook. So far, 3 strikeouts in his 4 innings of work. He'll look to continue that success here in the seventh, facing the 5, 6, and 7 hitters.
In the middle of the sixth inning, after Fox had wrapped up another shutout inning with a strikeout, Mike Roberts came out to have a discussion somewhat animatedly with the home plate umpire, and we suggested that it might be because of the pickoff move. Breaking pitch misses inside, ball 1 to Gene Cohn. 0 for 1 on the day with a walk and a pickoff at first base.
Everyone's a critic when you have something that's successful for you, and it flirts with the balk. It's really borderline, goes into that gray area, but umpires don't seem to mind it too much.
And at this point, Fox has pitched several innings with it, and you'd like to think that he has it down pretty accurately. 2-0. There's a strike. It's now 2-1. And I think, well, we can see it from our vantage point behind home plate. You won't be able to see it from the home plate camera, I don't think, but there is a definite mark as this one hit on the ground right side. Nice play by Karaviotis. Throws on to first. McKinnon kept his foot on the bag. What a play by Karaviotis and then McKinnon for out number 1 here in the top of the seventh.
A shortstop playing second base, an outfielder playing first base, and that's exactly what you get. A great play from Karaviotis to lay out and stab that ball, and then a great play from McKinnon to show the athleticism to keep his foot on the bag and retire Cohn over at first.
Now Mike Paez, 0 for 1 on the day. He walked and got as far as second in the second. Ball 1 taken low. That's actually the only time that the Kettleers have gotten a runner to second base. Fox winds and delivers the 1-0 on the outside corner, strike 1. To complete my thought, before I was so rudely interrupted by that dazzling defensive play by Karaviotis and McKinnon, you can see a mark where Fox's right foot consistently is planted on his throws over to first, just like you can see it for all the pitchers delivering to home plate. So it's a pretty similar motion every single time, which I guess is a good thing. The 1-2 to Paez, hit sharply and fair down the third base line. A hit for Paez. He takes a round around first, and he'll be content with a 1-out single. That play by Karaviotis looming even larger now after the single by Paez. Instead of first and second or worse, now just a runner at first with 1 out for Will Haney.
And we talked about how Haney's dangerous. He can put this game in the favor of the Kettleers with one swing of the bat. Fox, though, in his one time that he's faced Haney, got him to ground out to Grand Prix.
Breaking pitch makes Haney flinch. He takes it for a strike. Charlie Warren running down the line to the Gatemen bullpen, serving as Pony Express, perhaps relaying a message or something. I don't believe there's a phone down there. 0-1 missing inside. It's now 1-1.
Now, this is a high school baseball field. I don't think that technology would be implemented here.
We have cell phones nowadays, but I believe it's against the official bylaws to use a cell phone during a game.
Can't like a picture on Instagram like Pablo Sandoval did?
No, you cannot. The 1-1 to Haney, taken for a ball. It's 2-1. No rules yet against starting a fire in the bullpen. That's what the Gatemen have done every single home game here at Spillane Field since the beginning of the season. They have another one going tonight.
Keeps the bugs away.
Yes, it does. Also an excuse to bring out the marshmallows and make s'mores. Paez at first, one down. The 2-1 to Haney gets a swing and a miss. The lights are on. The sun is down. No fog rolling in after that heavy rain this morning. We were fearful of that, but looks like we're in the clear. The 2-2 to Haney. Hit in the air. Foul. Kisner might have a chance at it. He runs out of room behind home plate.
And a great catch in the stands.
Yeah, nice catch by a fan. The first base bleachers pretty full. The third base bleachers pretty full as well. Another nice crowd on another nice night here in Wareham. Fox takes the sign, checks Paez at first, and delivers the 2-2 to Haney, missing outside count full. With Brody Weiss on deck, we'll see if Paez takes off early. Knowing Mike Roberts, my guess is that he will.
But counteract that with what you know about Blake Fox's pickoff move, and it may be a little bit more difficult.
And there is the pickoff move, not the A move, but a throw over to first to keep Paez honest.
I say there's no way Paez goes here. With only one out, you're not going to be able to get a read on Fox whether or not he's going to first or to home until he actually commits one way.
We'll see. Paez does not go. The 3-2 to Haney, swung on and missed. So a good thing for Paez that he did not go. Haney retired for out number 2, and that'll bring up Brody Weiss. Weiss's last time up was robbed by John Sternangle, the Gateman third baseman. A sharp grounder down the third base line, diving to his right, then coming up and delivering a strong throw across the diamond. McKinnon, as he has several times, making a nice stretch. Matt Albanese is going to be pinch hitting for Brody Weiss. A move that is definitely defensible. Weiss was 0 for 2 on the day and was batting 140 on the year coming into tonight's game.
1 for his last 22.
Albanese, on the other hand, a little bit better at 226, and he's a regular. Playing in his 17th game, he takes ball 1. Albanese also offers a little pop in his bat. 3 doubles and a home run so far, counting amongst his 12 hits. He's an outfielder, though, so unless they have other people playing out of position, the Kettleers will have to switch things around and perhaps take him out after this appearance. Fox checks Paez, delivers to Albanese. Hit on the ground, off a foot. And that one's going to hurt for a while. Albanese taking a big, nice wide berth around home plate and now rounding himself back to the right-handed batter's box. Kisner, out of common courtesy, talking with the lefty Fox, and home plate being brushed per custom. Albany is now halfway up the third base line, taking his warm-up swings, trying to walk off that tough foul tip. The count's still 1-1. Fox taking the sign from Kisner. With an eye on Paez at first, he delivers to the plate. Swung on and missed, a low fastball, and the count 1-2.
It's got to be tough for a hitter, too. Always having in the back of your mind, is Fox picking over to first base on this? Nope, he's coming to the plate. Now I have to gear up for my at-bat. Combine that with the fact that Fox really does have swing and miss stuff and has the makings of a very tough at-bat.
Checking the runner back at first. Paez is back. Blake Fox trying to finish off inning number 5 of shutout ball. He came on in relief of Matt Crook, who pitched 2 shutout innings of his own. The 1-2 to Albanese. Got a piece, fouled it back. Blake Fox allowed a 1-out single to Michael Paez. He stands at first base. Just the 3rd hit of the game for the Kettleers this evening. The 1-2 to Albanese. And again, got a piece. Rolls it back towards the dugout.
The world right now is at the fingertips of Blake Fox, and a 1-2 count has his entire arsenal at his fingertips. He can go curveball here in the dirt, fastball high if he wants to, or even a fastball low. He's been getting swing and misses with that too.
1-2 gets a check swing, but misses inside. It's now 2-2. Cole Fabio's spot is on deck. Should Albanese reach, Fabio's spot will bat. Again, Albanese pinch hitting for Brody Weiss, who is 0 for 2 tonight. The 2-2, just missing outside, count runs full. Now we know that Paez will take off from first. Perhaps a bit later than usual to guarantee that Blake Fox delivers to the plate. Fox taking the sign from Kisner. Checking Paez. He goes. The 3-2. Breaking pitch misses outside. Ball 4. So Albanese pinch hits and draws a walk. He pushes Paez to second. Now first and second, 2 down for the 9-hitter Cole Fabio. Before that, pitching coach Jim Lawler is going to have a chat and maybe make a move to the bullpen.
Well, he has shut down guys in Ian Hamilton and Shea Spitzbarth, awaiting entrance into this game. I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled the string here, or pulled the plug on the outing of Blake Fox, but looks like he'll leave him in.
He'll have at least one more batter. Fox has been pretty good. Again, just 3 hits allowed in 4 2/3 innings, coming on in relief of Matt Crook. But a single with 1 out and a walk with 2 outs have the Kettleers threatening here in the top of the 7th. We should not forget either the leadoff hitter Gene Cohn, who almost had a single to the right side, but it was robbed by Mark Caraviotas, who made a sprawling, tumbling stop, and then a nice throw on to first to grab Cohn. Cole Fabio 0 for 2 on the day, tapped back to the pitcher and lined out to left. Fox checking the runner at second, delivering to the plate outside, ball 1. Gatemen got their run on their only hit in the bottom of the 6th inning, a solo shot off the bat of Andrew Kalika. Trying to keep that lead. The 1-0 misses low. It's 2-0. Fabio now ahead in the count, and we'll have to see what kind of pitch he gets here on 2-0.
It looks like it is Ian Hamilton warming up in the Gatemen bullpen.
2-0 from Fox to Fabio, hit in the air, foul, and out of play behind home plate. The runner at second, Michael Paez. Runner at first, Albanese, Matt Albanese, the pinch hitter. The 2-1 from Fox to Fabio, missing wide, ball 3. Court Peterson, the leadoff hitter, on deck. This will, in all likelihood, be Blake Fox's last batter. (3-1) from Fox to Fabio. High fastball gets a swing and miss, and count runs full. Runners will leave early. I shouldn't say that with any certainty because the leadoff hitter, Peterson, is a left-handed hitter. So the lefty-lefty advantage would indicate that Fox might stay in this game. Fabio calls time. He wants a little bit more preparation as he grips the pine tar and takes a couple half swings.
You've seen in this inning, though, that Fox has continued to leave his fastball a little bit high, a signal that he may be getting a bit tired and running out of gas.
Runners go. The 3-2 to Fabio. Misses high, ball 4. Second consecutive walk. Loads the bases. And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Court Peterson, and that will be the end of the night for Blake Fox. The call to the bullpen will bring in, we believe, Ian Hamilton. We'll have more on Hamilton when we come back. You're listening to the Cape Cod Baseball League Network and WCTV. One nothing Gatemen in the top of the 7th inning, but the Cotuit Kettleers are threatening. Bases loaded, 2 down. That'll bring in a new pitcher for the Gatemen, Ian Hamilton.
Hamilton, a right-hander out of Washington State, 6 foot, 195 on the mound. Talked a lot about how he's a closer back at his school. For the Gatemen, though, he's been used in his start. And against Falmouth, his last appearance, 3 innings, 3 hits, an earned run. His ERA sitting at 1.39 on the season. A big strikeout guy, too, and coming into a situation in which he either want to keep the ball in the infield or induce a lazy fly ball in the outfield. He wouldn't mind a strikeout either to the leadoff hitter, Court Peterson.
This is a high-leverage situation. The runner at third, Michael Paez, reached on a 1-out single. And the 8 and 9 hitters, standing at second and first, respectively, it's Matt Albanese and Cole Fabio.
Worth pointing out that Hamilton has faced the next 3 hitters in this lineup for the Kettleers. Peterson from UCLA, Klein from Stanford, and Stevens also from UCLA. So the Pac-12, a matchup between Hamilton and then the 3 impending batters. And hopefully for Hamilton's sake, he'll only have to face Peterson in the 7th.
Court Peterson 0 for 3 on the day. Popped out to first, grounded out to second, and popped out to second. Hamilton from the stretch takes the sign. The first pitch to Peterson. Just missing. Low ball 1.
And Hamilton's in his comfort zone now, too. Not a starter by trade at all at Washington State. Coming in, trying to get 1 out here in the 7th, possibly go the 8th as well. That's when he's most effective.
The 1-0 to Peterson. Just missing low ball 2 again, and after a very liberal strike zone all throughout this game, 2 very close pitches called balls. It's 2-0 to Peterson. With little margin for error, Hamilton readies the 2-0. Peterson hits it in the air, foul, and out of play down the third base line. Michael Paez at third base, the tying run. At second, Matt Albanese, the go-ahead run. Court Peterson could drive them all in with 1 swing of the bat. Hamilton comes to a set and delivers. Hit well, center field. Kalika back, and he has it measured. Puts it away for out number 3. Hit well by Court Peterson. But Andrew Kalika shows off his range going deep into right center field. The Kettleers load the bases but do not score. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. 1-0 Gatemen. You're watching WCTV in the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. Hopefully you had time to stretch. We did too. Gatemen leading 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. Cotuit, after leaving the bases loaded, will turn to a new pitcher. It's Mitch Stallings, and the Gatemen saw Stallings just a few nights ago.
Stallings, a left-handed pitcher, 6'1", 160 on the mound, residing from Duke University. 1-0 on the season, the 1.59 ERA against the Gatemen. He ended up twirling 3 innings, only walked 1, struck out a pair, and didn't allow a hit. So he was effective against them. Profiles is a very similar pitcher to the guy we just saw depart in John Woodcock. All told, he went 6 innings, only allowing 1 hit and 1 run. That 1 run proving costly, though. It came off the bat of Kalika.
Andrew Kisner will lead off for the Gatemen in the bottom of the 7th inning. He's 0 for 2. He'll be followed by David McKinnon and Logan Sowers. McKinnon hit the ball hard his first time up to deep right center field, but it was caught by Jackson Klein, ranging back into his left. His last time up, he wrapped out to third base. Stallings, another lefty, winds and delivers the first pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Something I love about Andrew Kisner's stance in the batter's box, his back elbow tucked down, and you hear time and time again Little League coaches reiterate, elbow up. Well, not so fast. Elbow up induces more fly balls, a more loopy swing. Kisner, though, that elbow tucked down, it's not tucked in, it's just down more than the average hitter's elbow.
It's natural. It's a natural position for the elbow to be in.
Exactly, and that's why he hits so many line drives. We saw one in his first at-bat in the first inning. Didn't have anything to show for it because the center fielder Klein made a great play. But that has the makings of a hitter who just hits a ton of line drives. May not have gaudy amounts of home runs, but he will always be in the top or near the top of his team in the doubles mark and of the batting average department too.
Ball 1 missing outside. It's now 1-2. Kisner just missed a home run during batting practice yesterday at Fenway. He was about a foot away from scaling the Green Monster. The 1-2 hit well right center field again. Peterson, Klein coming after it. It's Klein who trips over Peterson and makes a nice catch. Hopefully everyone's all right, as it appears they are. For the second time tonight, Andrew Kisner gave it a ride to right center field, and again, for the second time, Jackson Klein reels it in.
Yeah, that looked scary from the get-go. Klein and Peterson both crashing exceptionally hard. The two of them converging on that ball. It was Klein who ultimately took it, and some communication obviously took place, but made more difficult by the fact that he had to avert his right fielder.
Now David McKinnon. He is 0 for 1 on the day in 2 plate appearances, a walk and a strikeout. He takes strike 1 on the inside corner. One of just 3 different players for the Gatemen tonight to reach base. He walked in the second, was erased on a double play. Then the Gatemen didn't have another base runner until 2 outs in the 6th inning. It's quickly 0-2. With 2 outs in the 6th inning, Andrew Kalika hit a solo home run to right field. That was immediately followed by the leadoff hitter Kramer Robertson getting hit by a pitch in the bill of the helmet. That's it for the Gatemen, but so far it's been enough as they hold on to a 1-0 lead, the 0-2 missing low. Kettleers threatened in the top half of this inning. They loaded the bases with 2 down on the strength of 1 hit and 2 walks, but Court Peterson flew out to deep center field, and that was it. The 1-2 missing inside, it's 2-2. No errors for either side, a very well-played game, and a couple tremendous plays in the field by the Gatemen. The 2-2 to McKinnon, hit right to the shortstop Michael Paez. The swing looked good, but maybe off the end of the bat a little bit, looped harmlessly to the shortstop, and that's out number 2.
Yeah, that looked like so many of David McKinnon's singles this season. He's just been extremely content, and everyone on his team has been as well with his performance at the plate, just hitting pitch after pitch to that
left center gap or right back up the middle. And that one looked like all the other ones, but a little soft liner to the shortstop.
Now Logan Sowers taking outside ball 1. The 1-0 missing low. It's 2-0. We will assume, because we haven't been told otherwise, that it was a straight switch, and Matt Albanese is now at third base for Brody Weiss. He's listed as an outfielder, but not that much of a stretch. We find things out just as everyone else in the ballpark does, so 2-0, a big swing and a miss by Sowers. He comes up empty. It's 2-1.
I have it as Spencer Gay now over at third base.
Makes sense.
In the place of Albanese. Gay, a natural third baseman. I believe we saw him at second base in game 1 of this series in the Cape League Summer. And from what the Cotuit broadcasters have told us, prone to making a few errors here and there too.
2-1, fouled out of play. It's now 2-2. So that would mean that Gay is now batting in the 8th spot, where Brody Weiss originally was. The 2-2 to Sowers. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Another strikeout for Sowers, and that'll do it for the Gatemen in the 7th. We head to the top of the 8th. 1-0 Wareham over Cotuit on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
Here's my story, it's sad but true. It's about a girl.
We head to the top of the 8th inning. Gatemen hanging on to a 1-0 lead over the Cotuit Kettleers. Eric Bramer joined by Jake Garcia and Megan O'Brien. It's been a low-scoring, low-hitting game for both sides. Kettleers scoreless, having gotten just 3 hits. And the Gatemen only 1 hit, but it was a big one. A solo home run off the bat of Andrew Kalika in the bottom of the 6th inning. That's where we stand, and Ian Hamilton, who finished off that bases-loaded threat in the top of the 7th inning, will begin the 8th inning.
As we approach the later stages of this game, it's worth pointing out that the Gatemen this season 1-5 in 1-run games. It's a 1-run lead for them here tonight. That 1 win happened to come against the team they're playing right now in Cotuit last time these two teams faced.
Jackson Klein, the 2-hitter, has one of those 3 hits for the Kettleers. He leads off, and he takes strike 1. Hamilton now pitching out of the windup. He had to come in the stretch with the bases loaded. The 0-1, an off-speed pitch, gets a swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Klein will be followed by Stevens and Barry. And should any of them reach, Gene Cohn. Hamilton with the 0-2 to Jackson Klein, missing low in the dirt. It's 1-2. This has been a very quick ball game. We are now just past the 2-hour mark at 9:02 local time, and we're in the top of the 8th. Only had one game, I believe, go past 3 hours through 18 games this season, not counting, of course, the delayed game that went until the sprinklers turned on. The 1-2 hit in the air, snagged by Preston Grand Prix. Nice catch by Grand Prix, who went vertical. And that's out number 1 here in the top of the 8th.
The pitcher from Washington State delivering into a guy from Stanford, Grand Prix from Cal, robbing him of a base hit. I always like to mention the Pac-12 references and give them a shout-out. While you think it's the Big Ten against the world, I just like pointing it out. I think it's the Pac-12's world and everyone else is just living in it.
Go for it. You can think that. First pitch to Brett Stevens, misses low, ball 1. Stevens 1 for 2 on the day. He's reached base twice. He walked in the first, was caught stealing, struck out swinging in the third, and then had a single in the 6th. Missing low, and the count now 2-0. Might have gotten a piece of the home plate umpire as he will walk that one off. Gatemen have done a pretty good job in the field, on the mound, and a good enough job, a passable job at the plate. Only one hit, but so far it's gotten them their only run they need. Brett Stevens ahead in the count. We'll see what he gets on 2-0. He offers it a fastball and swings right through it. The 2-1 from Hamilton to Stevens. Missing low, it's 3-1. Hamilton winds and delivers the 3-1 to Stevens, gets a swing and a miss, and the count runs full. Now, some people like high-scoring games. There's always an effort to increase scoring in every single sport, but I really like games like this where it's low scoring and it's well played by both sides. The 3-2 to Stevens, missing wide, it's ball 4, and Stevens is aboard with one down for the cleanup hitter Brandon Berry. Third time that Stevens has reached base tonight.
Brandon Berry from Cal State Northridge.
And while, yes, it's been clean in all facets, I think the one thing that the Gatemen want to clean up, from their pitching staff at least, is the 7 walks allowed. Their pitching's been great, yes, they haven't allowed any runs, but just looking for things to improve on that would be one of them.
The sign of a good pitcher is making outs look routine. And that's been done by both sides. Nothing spectacular, just a ho-hum one-hit performance for the Kettleers so far through 7 innings, and the Gatemen surrendering 3 hits but no runs. Hamilton sends a pitch, and it's into left center field. Stevens is going to round second and head to third. A single by Brandon Berry, and now the Kettleers are threatening runners at the corners with one down.
Walks come back to bite you. It means that you can't work the corners of the strike zone as much, and Hamilton comes into the plate there. Berry knows that he has to come into the plate, deposits a single into the left center gap, and the walk that was on first base now on third base with less than 2 outs. And that'll look like the end of the outing from Hamilton, so a very abbreviated one.
Lawler comes out. Hamilton will leave the game, and that'll bring in Shea Spitzbarth, a guy who has become the Gateman closer early on in the year. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, runners at the corners, one down for the Kettleers, 1-0 Wareham on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. We are back at Spillane Field. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Gatemen leading Cotuit 1-0, but the Kettleers threatening with runners at the corners and 1 out. New pitcher is Shea Spitzbarth. Spitzbarth has been very good. 1 run allowed in 9 innings so far in the Cape League season. He's 1-0. He has a save to his credit, trying to pick up number 2 here. He did face Cotuit in his last appearance. He picked up a win in that game. He pitched 2 innings, allowing 2 hits, 1 walk. Didn't allow any runs. He didn't strike anyone out either.
Yeah, and he got the win in that game because he came in the 8th. Then his team supplied him with 2 runs in the 9th. They ultimately took the lead. Then he came back out for the bottom of the 9th and held Cotuit scoreless. So thus he notched his first win on the season, and he'll be tasked with not the exact same situation, but a somewhat similar one, trying to get out of the 8th and then get through the 9th unscathed.
Preston Grand Prix, the Gateman shortstop, letting Spitzbarth know what play is on in case a double steal occurs. Wouldn't put it past the Kettleers. Brandon Berry on first, Brett Stevens on third.
Interesting option here by the Gateman defense to have corners come in and middle at double play depth.
Gene Cohn squares to bunt, pulls it back, and takes a strike.
And why do I say that? Because the guy at the plate right now in Cohn is a left-handed hitter, so gets out of the batter's box a few steps quicker. If he hits the ball softly up the middle and beats out the throw onto first base, that could allow the runner on third, Stevens, to score and tie this game.
Cone, his last time up, thought he had a hit as Spitzbarth checks the runner back. He hadn't even left yet. But a grounder to the right side, and Mark Karaviotis made a really nice play, something that showed off his shortstop range. The 0-1 to Cone, bunted, foul. It's 0-2. So now Cone will almost certainly not bunt. He'll probably be swinging away on 0-2. Failing to do his job on the first two pitches. Spitzbarth takes the sign. Winds and delivers the 0-2 to Cone. Half swing, he went strike three. Spitzbarth comes in and strikes out the first batter he faces. Now he has one more to get. It's Mike Pagliese.
When Spitzbarth needed the strikeout, that's exactly what he got. Broke off a breaking curveball and one that had a lot of sharp movement on it. Cone didn't stand a chance on that check swing. Now the infield can retreat back a bit and play things at normal depth.
Andrew Kisner behind the plate, getting the sign from his dugout on what to do in the event of a first and third steal, giving the signs to his infield. Spitzbarth touching the bill of his cap. All these things, I'm sure, mean something to someone. Paez 1 for 2 on the day. He's reached base twice, last time with a single. First pitch from Spitzbarth, taken for a strike. The runner on third, Stevens, runner on first, Barry, they're both the responsibility of Ian Hamilton, who began this inning. Got the first out. Spitzbarth fires over to first. Hamilton got out of a bases-loaded two-out jam in the 7th inning, but unable to complete the 8th. Spitzbarth in relief. The 0-1, hit in the air center field. Kalika back, slipping, and regaining his composure to put it away. The crowd at Spillane Field almost had a collective heart attack as Kalika lost his footing in deep center field, but he gets back up and puts it away for out number 3. We are through 7.5. Still 1-0 Gatemen on WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network. We head to the bottom of the 8th, 1-0 Gatemen over the Cotuit Kettleers. There have been a couple scares in the last 2 innings. A bases-loaded two-out jam that Ian Hamilton got out of in the 7th, and a first and third jam that Chase Spitzbarth got out of thanks to the quick feet, maybe a little bit too quick at times, of Andrew Kalika, center fielder, who had a deep fly ball almost get by him as he slipped and fell down. But he caught it, and the score stays 1-0.
And right now he's running unopposed for our post-game interview with the Gateman Player of the Game. A few good catches in center field. Made that one more difficult than it needed to be, but don't see that in the box score. It's still an F8, and his home run proving to be the difference so far.
John Sternagel leading off. He's 0 for 2 on the day. He takes outside ball 1. His last time up, he hit a fly ball to shallow center field, but Jackson Klein, the Kettleers center fielder, made a nice tumbling catch. This one hit on a couple hops to third. Gay has it, throws on to first for out number 1. That'll bring up Mark Karaviotis 0 for 2 on the day.
The second baseman, number 23, Mark Karaviotis from Oregon.
We will go to Megan O'Brien at the end of the 8th inning for an update on some of the events around Spillane Field. Karaviotis takes a strike. Mitch Stallings trying to continue his string of success against the Gatemen. He delivers ball one outside to even up the count. Again, if you need a reminder, Stallings was excellent as he delivers a 1-1 swinging strike. It's now 1-2. Excellent in his last time out against the Gatemen. That was on Saturday. He pitched 3 no-hit innings, allowing just 1 walk. The 1-2 to Karaviotis, missing inside. It's 2-2. Stallings from the windup winds and delivers the 2-2 to Karaviotis. Hit on the ground to short. Paez has it, has to hurry, throws across, and gets him by a step, 2 down. So 2 ground ball outs to the left side to begin the 8th inning, and that'll leave it to Preston Grand Prix. Gatemen hope this is the last time they come to bat tonight. That Chase Spitzbarth can close out the top of the 9th and give the Gatemen a 1-0 win. Sorry to give our fans false hope, but Megan O'Brien will not be joining us at the end of this half inning. Instead, we'll just be joining her for post-game interviews that will be posted on YouTube as Grand Prix offers and then pulls back a bunt. He takes ball 1. We're going to keep saying this until it becomes commonplace, but we are no longer doing our post-game interviews as part of this broadcast. We're instead uploading them to YouTube, so we don't have to stay on the air for, at times, 15 minutes to give you those.
I'll say it on broadcast even when it does become commonplace. A good thing to remind people about, even if 90% of the viewers already know it. I wonder how many actually go back and watch.
1-1, flip foul. It's now 1-2. Well, we know a concrete number because YouTube does the view hits and all that. Some of those might be repeat viewers, but I think typically the player of the game interview gets a decent amount of views as it's passed around, family and friends, all that. Stallings with the 1-2 to Preston Grand Prix. Just off the outside corner, it's 2-2. If Grand Prix should reach, Andrew Kalika waits on deck. He has the only hit for the Gatemen this evening. It was a solo home run. 2-2 hit on the ground to short. Paez charging, throwing across his body on a hop. Barry has it, and the Gatemen go down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. We head to the top of the 9th. Chase Spitzbarth will try and shut it down and secure a Gatemen victory. You're watching WCTV and the Cape Cod Baseball League Network.
He's a little bit old school for it. That goes a little something like this. Always trying to be the flyest kid on the block. The popular one.
Chase Spitzbarth, after getting out of a jam in the 8th inning, will try and shut it down for the Gatemen in the top of the 9th. He has a 1-run lead to work with. The Gatemen only 1 hit in this game, but it was a big one. A solo home run by Andrew Kalika. It'll be 7, 8, and 9, or at least those spots due up for the Kettleers in the top of the 9th inning. Will Haney will lead off, followed by the 8th spot, which has been a carousel of players tonight, and then the 9-hitter, Cole Fabio.
The Gatemen so far in 2015 undefeated when leading both after 7 and after 8 innings. A perfect 7-0, and here in the 9th, Shea Spitzbarth on the mound. He's been a big reason why they have posted that undefeated mark. Be looking to retire this Kettleers squad that goes 7, 8, 9 here in the 9th.
Will Haney is 0 for 2 in 3 plate appearances today. He walked his first time up. One of 7 walks surrendered by the Gatemen pitching staff tonight. So far, they have not yet paid the price. Spitzbarth winds and delivers the first pitch. It's in there for a strike. Spitzbarth, the rare reliever, pitching out of the windup, delivers the 0-1 low. It's 1-1. Haney with a little bit of power. A feeble swing there to bring the count to 1-2. Again, 2 home runs in his last game, the last 2 at-bats in that game. So he has the potential to make this a tie game on one swing. Spitzbarth has other ideas. He'll try and get a swing and a miss and make him out number 1. The 1-2. Half swing, he went. It goes back to the backstop. Kisner's going to have to hurry, and there's not going to be a throw down to first. Will Haney reaches on a strikeout wild pitch, and the Kettleers have their leadoff hitter aboard.
Just really nothing Kisner could do about that, having to react at the last split second and that ball getting past his glove. Haney aboard, but still the bottom portion of the order up. Spitzbarth, not necessarily a ground ball pitcher, more of a strikeout type pitcher. He'll be looking for a quick ground ball to erase that wild pitch.
Kisner giving signs to his infield in case there's a steal or a bunt. Bring up Spencer Gay, making his first plate appearance of the day. It's initially Brody Weiss's spot. He was pinch hit for by Matt Albanese. He does square to bunt, instead takes high, ball 1. Then Albanese was subbed out in a defensive substitution for Gay.
The current bunt defense that the Gatemen have in place is the third baseman Sternagel crashing hard. McKinnon's holding on the runner at first and then coming in. Karaviotis occupying his spot at first base.
Again squaring to bunt, again taking a ball. It's 2-0. Gay on the year batting .236. 13 hits, only 1 of them for extra bases and only 2 runs batted in. He's also struck out 12 times, which is second most on the active roster. Again squaring to bunt. This one gets down. Right back to Spitzbarth, throws on to first. 1 out. The bunt is successful. The sacrifice advances Haney to second.
It may have been there, but it would have been extremely risky. The way Spitzbarth can bounce off the mound, he may have had a shot to get the runner Haney at second base. But obviously, momentum taking him in opposite directions. The smart play is to throw on to first there and just take the out and allow Haney to reach second base. But had he felt a little more frisky, he may have had a shot.
We'll bring up Cole Fabio, 0 for 2 on the day in 3 plate appearances. He walked his last time up. That loaded the bases for Court Peterson and took Blake Fox out of the ballgame. First pitch to Fabio, outside, ball 1. The runner at second, Will Haney, he reached on a strikeout wild pitch, was sacrificed to second by Spencer Gay. Swung on and missed, chasing out of the zone to even up the count at 1-1.
I think the main point of emphasis here for Spitzbarth is to get through these next 2 batters so he doesn't have to face Klein in the 2-hole. Klein due up third after this, and having a 6-game hitting streak extended this game to 7 games. He's the only hitter in these next 3 that's collected a hit.
1-1, fouled straight back to the screen. Another 2-strike count for Spitzbarth. This time he'll try and get a strikeout that does not allow the runner to reach base. Gatemen got their lone run in the bottom of the 6th inning. It was on their lone hit. Solo home run off the bat of Andrew Kalika. Fabio calls time. He's tired of waiting. So he'll reset things for the 1-2. Spitzbarth checks the runner at second. Delivers the 1-2. Hit on the ground to first base. McKinnon gets his body in front of it, touches the bag for out number 2. In the process, Haney advancing to third base, the tying run 90 feet away. That'll bring up Court Peterson, the leadoff hitter for the Kettleers, and the leadoff hitter in a Mike Roberts lineup typically means it's your best guy, the most powerful person in your lineup. But he's 0 for 4 today. He's gotten the ball out of the outfield once. That was a fly out to center with the bases loaded in the 7th. Spitzbarth with the first pitch. It's a strike on the outside corner. Haney at third. Not being guarded by Skernagel. He's trying to maximize his range in the hot corner. Spitzbarth steps off.
With a tying run 90 feet away, any ball in the dirt is going to cause any Gatemen fans to hold their breath.
Breaking pitch bends over for a strike. I don't think Peterson was expecting that one to tail over and catch the black. But it does, and it's quickly 0-2. The Kettleers down to their last strike.
And it'll be interesting to see what Spitzbarth opts to roll with here. Way ahead in the count, 0-2. I wouldn't be surprised to minimize the amount of risk if he went with a high fastball.
0-2 from Spitzbarth to Peterson. Lined to the glove of Preston Grand Prix. That'll do it. The Gatemen win 1-0. They only get one hit. But it's a solo home run off the bat of Andrew Kalika, and that's enough as the combination of Crook, Fox, Hamilton, and Spitzbarth combine to shut out the Kettleers. Gatemen move to 10-9 on the year. The Kettleers fall to 6-13. A quick game, clocking in at just under 2.5 hours, and uneventful in the best way.
That's exactly right. The pitchers for the Gatemen tonight were absolutely stellar. Matt Crook towed the mound to start this game off, allowed a total of 4 walks but no runs to cross the plate. Blake Fox then stole the show. He came in, twirled some excellent innings in relief of his starter Matt Crook. He didn't allow any runs to score, and then it was Hamilton who came in, struggled a bit, and Spitzbarth who ultimately sealed the deal on this win. Not much to analyze on the offensive side. It was 1-2-3 for the Gatemen all the way until the 5th inning, until Andrew Kalika hit a bomb over the right field the fence in right field right near the flagpole. That lone run proving to be the difference for the Gatemen. And quick note, after Sunday's game from our broadcast director, Warren Randolph, after Sunday's game, fans, kids can bring stuff to have the Gatemen. I mean, if you want, I will be wishing that Wally the Green Monster were here, but it's autograph night. So bring
I'll
stuff
be at
for
the table
Gatemen
then, signing all the autographs for myself.
Oh, I thought you were saying you getting autographs from the players.
I was, but then I realized that that's what it was going to be for. So.
I don't know if anyone wants our autographs. I thought it was a good broadcast, though, and a win for the Gatemen, that's always fun.
The totals on the board are correct. The Wareham Gatemen scoring 1 run on 1 hit. They did not commit an error. Cotuit Kettleers, no runs on 4 hits. They, too, did not commit any errors. The winning pitcher is Blake Fox. The losing pitcher is John Woodcock. The save goes to Shea Spitzbarth, who pitched 1 2/3 innings of shutout ball. We are back on the air Friday at 7 o'clock as the Gatemen take on the Bourne Braves in the first game of a 2-game set, a home-and-home against the Bourne Braves, July 3rd and 4th. We will sign off from Spillane Field for Jake Garcia, Megan O'Brien, our broadcast coordinator, Warren Randolph, and all the interns and employees at WCTV. I'm Eric Bramer. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you Friday.